Thank you. Okay. Is there any hope? I do not know. Hang on a second. Just a second, guys. I've got to sort this out. I've got to renew this in my face job. Record. Keep it a completely separate piece of paper. That's the way to go.
Put it on a piece of paper and block it with press stick onto the side of your screen.
That's exactly what I'm sort of doing. Whereas completely separate in my bloody face, and then we're in business. Okay, get that out of the way. Righty, so that's better. Okay, right, record. There we are. In fact, actually, just hang on, I'm getting more in my face. Because maybe one day you'll get married to somebody else and leave me, Dion. Then what am I going to do? There we are. Sorted. Thank you. Righty. So, yeah. Okay. So just going back, was mentioning then, as I mentioned yesterday, probably don't expect much sort of direction, for want of a better word, really, until I'm assuming till tomorrow's CPI. Even then, I'm not so sure. I don't know if you heard of Bill O'Reilly, just something on a daily podcast on YouTube, and his thing is no spin news. Now, everyone's got a little bit of bias, but I found his is pretty well sort of on America, basically, pretty well researched, and he tries to be independent. So it's not all Trump's a good guy or all Trump's a bad guy scenario. Try and get it sort of more no spin facts out of it, because as you know, we're bombarded with narrative rather than facts. That's the problem. So, one of the things he did say, which is, yeah, as well, yep, that's correct, Zeph. One of the things he did say, which sort of more concurs in my belief as well, that I think that going in, if not this week, certainly going into next week, we should have something going on the Zelensky side of the Ukrainian situation, and then just got to tie the other side up with Putin. And there looks like there will probably be soon a completion of the Hamas scenario going into this week and maybe into next week, etc. Also, maybe Iran that seemed to have gone off the map a little bit. I think there's more huff and puff than anything else there. Which again about the nuclear bomb stuff there, but that seemed to go off the been left behind a little bit. So anyway, that's more the Hezbollah side. Okay, so it comes back to the tariffs. That could take a bit longer. So that is the issue. We got the new guy, Mark Carney, in as Dion reminded me, used to be the governor of BOE at one stage, and he's put his foot down with a firm hand, and so it might lead Mexico do similar, or I can't see how that can occur because, as I say, the cards are not held by them. But anyway, that could take a longer to resolve, which is an issue from a trader's perspective, because as you've probably seen, there's been some very strange movements on the markets, which are quite frankly often quite unpredictable. Got away with a nice one, yes, and a dollar yen, but thank goodness it was not a swing trade and out of it, because the dollar's now taken another dive. And as a result of it, obviously, all that good stuff, if you'd held onto it, would have been vanished away and in the end hit your stop loss. So, luckily, because of the scenario, we adjusted our strategy towards it. And yeah, so it worked out pretty well. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the euro dollar. I just check quickly my economic calendar because today being Tuesday, let's just a second get this stuff out the way. Okay, Japan had a bit of a movement this morning, not as big as I would have expected. GDP was a scratch better than expected, but the US dollar's coming out with the normal Tuesday job openings at 4 o'clock. But not really much else on the European sector. Having said that, the European, just gonna just change things around a bit here. Just give me a minute. Gets a bit cluttered this side, so have to move stuff out the way so I can see what the hell's going on. That's why when I try and check something on the other screen, I'm going to move a couple of these. Okay, where was it? Okay, now I'm going to go to the euro dollar. As you can see, the euro, for one reason or two, best known to itself, decided it's going to take off. It's a 50-minute chart. It's a fairly short time ago, and took off and had a sudden big move up. Go back to Herard, actually called me out today. What about looking at a short in the euro dollar? The strategy seems to be okay. Expect a bit of dollar strengthening. Euro, a couple of issues there. It's very high indeed. Seem to add up to a bit of a short. So I said, yeah, I hear you, but I'm just not comfortable the weaker dollar's over. The tariffs are giving a lot of areas of no follow through areas, for a better way of putting it. I personally hear you, but I'd rather sort of leave it alone. And he said in response, I hear you as well. Okay, he'll go the same direction, as in LIA, just as bloody well as it turned out. It didn't happen much. It popped around a bit. He wouldn't have been in much of a, if he had gone it, much maybe a pip or two in profit at one stage. I can't remember, it was yesterday. Not for very long before this scenario occurred, and he would not have been a happy chappy. So yeah, it keeps on marching to the north. I thought 107 might be the height, then 108. I thought, we must be getting somewhere there. And now it's looking like the 109 scenario is there. It just about got there and pulled back a bit, but it still seems to be trying to rise again. So where to from here? My answer to this is, unless you can inform me otherwise, I haven't got a cooking clue. I'm not going to outguess that. So again, it's not unexpected what's occurred. It's just more of the same. The tariff scenario is the major protagonist as regards this strange market movements. You might sort of have a few drinks and say to hell with it, or put an order in. Well, I think you're just as lucky as if you did a hour or two of strategy. That comes right or not, to be honest. Maybe I'm being a little unfair. I don't know. I haven't received anything from Zeph, anything from Alex and like that. So I'm assuming Zeph, Alex, and anybody else are probably feeling more or less the same. You can probably okay or not, Zeph, on that. Are you still there? Uh, yeah, he's still there. Okay, so Zeph may back that up or not. I don't know. But it is an issue at the moment, quite frankly. Yeah, with now price action. This is a bit of a pullback. Whether the game's sustained or not, again, I wouldn't know. So that's where we're standing. More or less the same recipe, but at least we've been warned that it's like to go on for another day or two, and it might even be a bit prolonged with a tariff. I think in the end, Canada and Mexico will capitulate. China, I think probably, but I'm not so sure. It'll be that quick. But as I say, the Ukraine situation, I think, is on the cards to be resolved. Makes no sense to carry on with that. People are now dying unnecessarily. They're not going to get NATO, not going to get the Donbass and Korea back. Finishing klar. It's costing Putin a fortune. He didn't want to spend it either. He can concentrate on wherever he wants to take over, and we'll handle that. He's got his eyes on the Baltic states, but they're part of NATO, so he might find that quite difficult. With the deal, if it goes through, we'll have American bodies on the ground in Ukraine. Will cramp his style because it starts polishing those guys off in attacks. Then gives like Pearl Harbor, it gives the Americans to give to get a little bit heavier, and they've got the guns to do it, as we all know. So that will curb it. Don't say it, guarantee it, but it'll certainly put the odds more in favor of curbing an attack than a defenseless Zelensky, shall we say. That's my take. It seems other people seem to be thinking more or less similar. Outside the spin news, as I call it, which are just well, some of the comments I read when they go out, I mean, it's so uninformed, it's scary, and it's highly irresponsible, in my opinion, with some of these news items misusing the freedom of the press to pushing a narrative to, quite frankly, not that well-informed people. Because some of them, I'll tell you what, I'm 10,000 k's worries away from there, and I think I'm a bit better informed than some of the guys who live there. It's just quite extraordinary, some of the comments. They just really don't have a clue, and it's uh, difficult. Okay, yep. So there we are. Now, as mentioned there, Zeph, I don't know if you're busy with the kids or listening to this and that, or you're driving or whatever, But as I say, I haven't really found anything I'm excited about. I can go through the stuff with you. I've already done it this morning and didn't really see anything I was comfortable enough to pounce on. But if you saw some, let's hear it, or anybody, not just them, anybody. But I'd be interested to see if
Hi,
anything's come
Raj.
forth from your good friend Alex. How's it, Zeph?
Hi, Raj. Yeah, no, nothing really good happening actually. I'm not finding anything I'm excited about.
And nothing from Alex either, I take it. I'm not talking about
Uh,
2 pip bloody targets just to try and get a trade on the board. I mean, reasonable ones.
yeah, no, that is what he does sometimes. I mean, he's had some gold ones out. Wasn't too bad, but yeah, I
Yeah.
was a bit iffy with gold. So he had euro dollar out. That one he took a knock. He had Australian dollar. That one he took some pips as well. So it's small little pips he's taking at the moment.
Well, that more or less, guys, answers the question.
But
I mean, sorry, go on, Jeff.
yeah,
Sorry, carry on. Go on. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. That more or less answers the question because, as I say, um, I don't know what kind of clientele he has got on his portfolio. If they're extremely aware, experienced people, you can put out those kind of trades because they can look at it like you do. Very good example, and take your choice, and you know you're responsible and you understand the pros and cons. Very difficult when you've got clients who want the hand, but also holding down jobs and haven't got that much time to put into it. So they don't want to be uninformed, but they haven't got the time to put into it. And so as a result, I just can't see putting out trades that can turn on a dime. I just can't do that because, as I say, you're on it, you're watching it. You might grab. Let's take gold. You might say, let's go long or short. Well, let's go long. What the hell? You might say, I'm going to aim at 2,910, and then he gets to 296, and then I take it. Well, that's all very well, but the guy out there might not have had that chance. It didn't get to his 2,910. He wasn't looking at the time. He was doing something else. And then it pops back. He can't modify his stop to protect. And then suddenly it comes back again, which could easily happen. Now, we've had a sudden movement even lower
that
because,
is what's happening with the markets currently. It's like that.
yeah, exactly. Well, there we are then. I mean, gold, for instance, I did mention myself that it's probably going to go hover, shall I say, from what a better word, crabbing along. I expected a bit of a pullback. I couldn't say the extent. Long term, I'm bull. We all know that. But I expect a bit of a pullback and I expect to flounder for the moment. And if the Zelensky-Putin scenario is sorted out, I expect a bit of strength would creep in there. Having said that, that did actually came back to 2,890 or something, anyway, whatever. 2,880 in the end. Okay. And then before it started resounding again. So more or less that kind of range, but not a range trading. It's jumping around as news comes out. So it's not a range trade. Seller's not here, as you know. Isn't. So that's not a range trading scenario. I predicted some range between, let's say, what I mentioned, the lows there, 80 and 89, I don't know, whatever, to maybe 10 or 15, as it jumps around, wait for something else to push it. And as it came to the party, the dollar suddenly weakening so much for whatever reason, gave a bit of a boost to the gold. But it's still waiting for decent direction, more on the tariff principally, and of course the Ukraine scenario, and of course the Hamas scenario as well. So there's more in the hands of that than technicals at the moment. So that's why I say if you are on it, you want to pick up a let's say a $3, $4 stop, 4, 3, 2, your TP1 $2, TP2 $4. You get the idea. You can probably play around with that if you have the time, expertise, and comfort with that kind of rather stressful kind of trading, which can be. Otherwise, probably best to just give it a sidestep for the moment. Okay, now I'll give an example again on the dollar yen. We took something there yesterday, but look at the situation. There it came off. We'll put it on the app, probably get a better idea. Came off nicely, thank you very much. And then look how far it's popped up in the last dozen hours or so. Popped right up another 87 pips. So, you know what I mean? It's just, and now it came off again from 87 up, back down 60 odd, and then it's gone back up. And now where's it going to go from here? Probably go up there a bit, but then again, because we've got the weaker, no, it's a weaker dollar, sorry, probably come back a little bit, but then who knows? You might get a bounce in the dollar. So there we go, same sort of principle. And the NAS came off dramatically, but we discussed that again. It had technical, remember I mentioned it had technical what's the word? I've forgotten the proper word for it now. Technical damage, that's right. Had technical damage from the high buy zone to the weak zone, and not correct, Gertrude, very much so, as I'm saying. And yeah, so I said rather short the route for the moment, and that would
Rog,
be the way to go. It's gone. Listening, gone.
I'm actually looking for a buy on the NAS because I've got a gain in a trade line, and I'm just waiting for it to come again and test that trade line, hold on the trade line, and then push up again.
Well, it came down, didn't quite get to 19,000, but it's fallen off. Remember, I said 20,000 is the likelihood. If it breaks that, could come down quite a bit more. So I sort of thought maybe 19,000, just because the RAM thing, nothing particularly clever on it.
Now, I've got the trade
If,
line, Roger. If you zoom out on the daily more, you can see more, so that you can actually see. You see there, actually more
oh, you mean back from here?
from back there. If you draw a trade line in there, touching at least 2 candles, 3 candles there, yeah, like more up there, yeah. So the
So I'm
only
going,
thing I'm watching is this thing gonna go down to that demand zone before pushing back to the trade line, or is it gonna break that trade line and then hold there? But I don't like this is a daily trade line. I don't think I'm gonna get it today. It's going to be a thing to watch.
okay,
This
right,
thing this thing could shoot down. I'm not certain how this thing is going to go.
okay. Join the club. But joking
Yeah.
apart, but joking apart,
And
yeah,
I don't want to jump into it saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna now take this bounce because I don't know if this is actual bounce. This isn't gonna go down to test that demand zone down.
right.
I
Well,
mean,
well,
because it's breaking. If you zoom out more, where you got that trade line, zoom more out, you see that demand zone.
for sure, of course.
There's a very good chance it could get there because it's broken other levels, it's broken other highs.
Okay, my take is similar to that, but I'm just going a little bit more detail in the fact that technical damage is done. Yep,
Yeah.
19,000 the next step. Didn't quite get there, but near as damn it. Okay, and then got the profit jumping a little bit quicker than I expected. I thought it might come back a bit more before a profit take. And I looked, as you mentioned, am I going long, when it was about 19,260, 19,270. And so I waited and it didn't happen much. It was a bit quiet. And I thought, no, I'll give it a miss. As it turned out, I should have taken it. Having said that, does that mean now I'll join it now? Let's go to shorter term chart. Well, it's look at that. It was hovering. That's the problem I was having. It wasn't seem to be doing much. So I thought I'll wait on that. Now it seems to be recovering. Do I think it's going to recover with a bit more profit taking after such a large fall off over the last several days? Yes, I do, to be honest. That is a trend line's not far from exact, so I'm not going to use that as an area of support or resistance. I'm going to use this guy here. It could get back up here somewhere around that sort of level there before it comes off again. Until we get the Sarah scenario sorted out, that seems to be the sell the rally. So it could push up a bit further. But I think my indecision of going in earlier means I think I missed I'm not going to join it now. I think it's a little bit late to join it now. So
You see, that's
I've
the thing as well. I mean, because you got that trade line now in there, could it actually bounce on that trade line and go down again?
I'm not so sure
That's
about that. It's not accurate enough. I don't
I'm
think
not
so.
sure how this thing's going to actually
No,
run.
I think that trend line is just a bit of a guide. I
Yes,
don't
yes,
think
yes.
it's
It's just a
accurate enough.
guide, yeah.
I a very, very, very thin guide. I'm not taking notes to that support resist.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
giving
no,
an
no,
over
no,
idea.
no,
So
no, no, no.
I
I
can,
know that.
if
So
it's going to go up, I'd say probably if it's going to do around about this sort of level here, maybe,
yeah, but
yeah.
what's it going to drive? I mean, if you we don't know.
Well, I think it's going to drive it simply
The
because,
dollar, the dollar's weak and it's pushing this thing down.
for sure. Well, no, the dollar weak
So
the other way around. Dollar weak's the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, it should, but lately it doesn't. The NAS moves with the dollar technically lately.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't because usually the dollar goes
I
down,
know
the
it
yields come
shouldn't. That's
off.
how
But yeah,
we've always known it.
but yeah,
But
but still,
lately it's moving like that.
well, if that's the case, it can add more
I
confusion.
mean,
You
if
have to have
you look
certain
at the
rules. Yeah.
DXY, how the DXY has gone down, and you see how this thing's going down,
I'm just thinking,
it's
you're driving
moving with
on
the
the
dollar at the
right,
current state. I
but
mean, for the
that's a
past
not.
few days,
Yeah, yeah, true. But I
it's
mean, it's
been
like,
moving with the dollar. So the dollar's going down, this thing's going down.
yeah,
It's
but it's yeah, but
yeah.
that's not the norm. I still think it's extreme jitters over these tariffs. I think it's come back down. As I put this morning, the write up, some guy, I forget his name now. It's thinking it's some institutional CEO, and I don't think he's the only one. They're thinking, right, we've been looking for this correction for goodness knows how long. Nothing to do with politics, just the correction. Most people think this thing is overheated. The recovery was a bit too rapid for the underlying fundamentals. What are the underlying negative fundamentals is the debt problem. I've been going on about like a stuck record for the last few years. The American debt problem is a serious issue. They're paying $1 trillion US dollars, as in 18 million rand per year on interest alone, which is sucking it out of the economy. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Okay, sucking it out of the economy. So the correction's been expected, and is it correction over yet? I'm not too sure about that, but in a way, that's good news to start looking for bargains. So what I think is pushing it up, a bit of profit taking. Like I said, I thought it'd be round figure, but it didn't. But I've seen it so volatile than that. As you can look at 19 as your target, it can drop easy 80, 90 pips below, or bounce 80, 90 pips above. Because it's so much more volatile. So it didn't quite get to the 19,000, but it's near as damn it. And then some profit taking came in. It might actually be something to do with that sort of supply zone there, eh? Or demand zone, sorry, demand zone there. But anyway, that apart. And then you get a bit more movement, then some more people profit take, and then it starts to attract some buyers who think, hang on, this is a bit overcorrected now. And then that adds the momentum. So I think we could get a sort of pullback momentum unless some other news comes out. Got no major fundies coming. Oh, they've got the jolts coming out at 4 o'clock. Apart from that, no fundies. So I think the momentum is getting by a profit taking and maybe a longs on bounce expectation of such a pullback. So that's why I think, round about the 19,750 or just above that could be the next target. I'm thinking that. Am I going to go for it at this stage? No, I'm not. It's too many balls in the air to be confident. It's just an overall take. That's the way I see it anyway, which is more or less, I think, how you're saying it, just putting what you're saying into more details. There's no contradiction there. It's just adding a few more details scenario. Yeah, and as Gertrude said, the markets are rather difficult at the moment. So let's have a look at a couple of these things just put out there by Zeph. We'll start off the first one. It's the CAD JPY as a buy. It's not a pending, it's a market order. Oh no, it's a buy. Sorry, it's market order 102.15. Wait, that's a quick trade one. Oh, sorry, I should mean. I should see the format. Okay, beg your pardon. Right, CAD JPY. Let's have a quick look. 10. What was it? Wait, where is it now? 102.15. I don't know when it came out, but it hasn't been there yet. So I suppose in a way it's a pending order. But if it's a pending order, do you do a buy stop, or if you think it's going to go up, why not get a better price at it and enter at market? Having said that, what's the stop? 102.75, buy at 102.15, 25.40. Okay, it's sort of just about squeezing a doable for a swing at 40 pips. Still, it's a bit tight for a swing, but anyway, we'll forgive him in this case. Having said that, if you go in now, you're getting in only a 25 pip. Now, my question is, I'd like to hear your opinion. I'm looking at the range here. And what are we on now? An hour chart. It's a 36 pip range going back since what time we're talking about here? 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And at the top of that range, do you think it's going to surge above that? Remember, Canada is, despite tariff fight back, is suffering. It's suffering. And it's a close partner with the US, and the US dollar is down. And often that'll occur with the Canadian as well, number one. Number two, oil has broken through the 70. No surprise there, but it's still a source of revenue reduction, if you like. Do you think it's going to pop back up there? I know it's come off a lot. There might be a bounce sitting there waiting to run after such a big move down. Let's try a longer term chart. It's the 10 hasn't been broken, so that's given me a little bit of cause of concern on the buy. And yeah, what is the TP on that thing? 75. No, that's the wrong way around. 78. Is that right? 102.78 stop loss 102.75. How's that work? Oh, it must be the stop 101.75. All right, it's a misprint. Okay, I get it. So it should have been a stop loss 101.75. Beg your pardon. That's a misprint. Never mind. We understand that. 102.78. Where's 102.78? Up there. It's a good possibility you can get up there. Would I be confident enough in this clear no change in the downtrend with a shorter term 4 hour held below that? Am I confident that's going to occur? Well, absolutely I'm not. No. That's my take. What is your take on that one before we go to the next one? Thanks for sending that. Got something to talk about. We analyze. That's what all of us, but Labina and Gertrude particularly can pick up stuff who I'm thinking on this as well. So what's your take on that, guys? What's your take on that? I've just given mine. What do you think?
I just sent them, but I don't know if we should enter them. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we'll do,
They
we'll do each one of them. We'll stick to this one for the time being. Won't jump ahead of ourselves. Come to the next one in a minute. But CAD JPY, it's a quick trade one, remember? Now
This one
give
I
my
see
analysis.
more of a sell, to be honest, but
I see it more of a LIA, second a
yeah,
sell, third of a
that as
buy in
well.
that order. Yeah. But I just want other people's
Mm.
opinion. I give my analysis. It's important other people can look at it and gain their analysis. Otherwise, they're not learning. It's important they obviously do. So they feel more comfortable and they can read it. So you feel more or less the same my analysis, or would you disagree on any other points there? Anybody? Or what's your take? Important you have an no good saying, well, I don't know. I mean, what you've got a situation there, you've got a trade to look at. Let's analyze best way, but might not trade it, might not, doesn't matter, as long as we're learning from it. So I've given my assessment. Please, guys, let's hear yours. Or put it this way, do you think we should go for it, getting a better price in the trade, or leave it? What do you think?
But Roger was on the day I put in a zone at the bottom of that weeks, and yeah, it maybe it can go up, but just as well it can go down also.
Yeah, but that's not really a trade signal, is it? It's like me
Yeah.
saying
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go to the
Can I,
casino, you can put it in red or you can put it on black. With all due respect, I know that. Just
Rod,
Yeah,
which one
yeah,
shall I
yeah,
put it
yeah.
on? Yeah.
Rod, this is what
Yeah.
I've also been watching, the CAD JPY, but if you zoom out more on the daily, more, where's your demand zone? This thing could even run to that demand zone as well.
Could too, yeah.
And that's quite a lot of pips to run there. And again, all these markets are actually like that. It's choppy. You don't know where this thing's going to go.
Okay, well, let's fold it all up into put what we're going to say there then. Are we going to go for the buy or are we going to go for a sell or are we going to leave it alone? What's the
I
majority think? I've
I'm
given mine.
I'm more on a LAA.
I'm an LIA. We got two LIAs, Zeph and myself. Three from Gertrude. Any other LIAs? Any other buys on this one? LIA. Okay, well there we are then. Got
Because I
one.
see most of these markets are like that. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at like I showed you now to zoom out more, a lot of them are actually running towards demand zones or running further down or further up, depending where or how the market's running. But I mean, this thing could run either way,
You see,
and it's at a moment of just leave it alone completely.
when I hear from people who are fairly experienced say this could easily go up or easily go down, or it could do this or not sure of that, it's just telling me again it's just far too many balls in the air. It's not enough. I like to look at something and say, am I 65, 70, sometimes 80, 90%, I think is in your head. I think 9% is pushing it. But I want to be looking before I press the go button. I'm 65% comfortable with that direction. At the moment, I'm 50% comfortable. In fact, quite frankly, yeah, I'm 50% comfortable it could pop up a bit, and I'm 50% comfortable it can continue its down run. So to me, it's just flicking a coin. Why would you go and spend good money to learn stuff, time to, never mind just the money, time and effort to learn something, if you just flip a coin? You know what I mean? I mean, your 2-year-old can flip a coin. So that to me is a coin flip. If that goes up there, that wouldn't surprise me. Could easily do that. It could give up and go down. I don't know. I'm certainly not comfortable enough that I can give advice and say I'm 65 or better assertion. It'll go in a direction. So I strongly suggest you put your own money on it. I can't make that comment. Does that make sense? And that's what I feel. I get the LIA
And
flying
also,
out there.
if you,
Same thing. Go on.
Raj, if you also look at like the heat map, it's just jumping the whole time as well. I mean,
Very good point. That.
I
Very
mean,
good
the
point.
yen was stronger just now, and now all of a sudden it's weak again. It's just jumping.
As a matter
I
of
mean,
fact,
the
that's not a good
CAD,
point.
I mean, the CAD earlier today, like an hour ago, it was like the weakest. Now it's getting a bit stronger. So it's up and down.
Once I think that's not a bad idea. I hadn't thought of that. That's to me actually that's an excellent use of the heat map. If you see the thing dancing every time you refresh, all over the bloody place, that tells you a heck of a lot. That to me is far more relevant than saying, oh well, the euro's the strongest, the dollar's the weakest. Let's go and buy the euro and sell the dollar. But if it's jumping around a lot, if consistent, yeah, then we can say maybe it's a good guide, the heat map, jumping around that can actually add to it. Not a bad point you made there. Yeah. I'd just seen it as I was speaking there last moment. It jumped around again. So absolutely, yeah. So that's not exactly helping me to get off the, although my arse is burning me from the pain of sitting that damn fence, to get away from the LIA fence. So yeah. But I hope we all learn from that. So I'm pushing forward. We're saying wrong or right. We're learning from where I'd make a decision and where I'm suggesting other people would, as we share ideas, can decide what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to leave that one and move on to the next one. Does man spend time on it? This is where we learn stuff. If it's boring you guys, we can move on to something else or a more likely trade. Please stop me. We'll do it. But I think this might be some valuable to all of us. I hope I'm right. If I'm not, well, let me know. Right, let's start with the dailies. We've got it on there. NZD USD. What's the dollar doing at the moment? When the dollar, you've always got that indicator of the DXY dollar index to look at, and like you have the euro. Where's the dollar? I've got an hourly. If you have a daily, it's up to you. But I've got an hourly. 50 minutes a little bit quick for me, so I tend to use the hourly. But that's me. I'm not saying right or wrong. And yeah, I don't see any much recovery. What I do see, it tried to recover within the last half an hour, but then the sellers came in. Remember, the DXY is also a tradable instrument, if not on this platform. Many overseas ones, particularly in America, they do have that. So it's still tradable. So it gives you an indication there saying, aha, right, it's still not really getting going. Don't forget, very important to bear in mind when you're looking at the dollar index, that not exactly, but plus minus 50%, sorry, 55% of the weighting in that index is the euro. So it's made up of 6 currencies of Sweden, Canada, the other majors, Swiss franc, Japanese pound, you get the idea. But the euro has a 55% weighting. So if you get a strong euro, you can often see of the dollar index coming off quite a bit, but you might not price the yen or the pound as much. That solves that. If you're not sure why that is, that solves that problem now. At least you understand why. Anyway, going back to the index, it popped up, but then down. And then it's popped down, but up again. So still no sign of any movement on the dollar index to the upside. Right. So what does the trade say, NZD/USD? It's a buy. Now, why would it say a buy at this stage when there's no indication the dollar is actually strengthening? Is it because it's come off so much? Well, that's also true, but not necessarily a good reason. As I say, if the things are looking bad, doesn't mean to say they're going to suddenly become good. They could get worse. So looking at that dollar index is not comfortably saying I'm going to start to sorry, it's the other way of buying that one. Continue to sell the dollar. It could come off and could come back up again, simply because I haven't seen any rescue in any particular area. Okay, so the next step is where is it? Is it below, above the moving averages on the daily? Well, are we on the day? Yeah. Well, it's somewhere in between, so it's not really in the sell zone. Also, let's just again look at the wick. The wicks aren't exactly giving me confidence to see it's going to go shooting up as yet. It's, well, how far? It's about 47 pips away from the demand supply zone, away from the supply zone. Okay, so it might reach up there, but it's already been there in the last yesterday, and it's just a little bit of recovery. But look, another wick's appearing. Try the 1 hour. See where I'm coming from? Yeah, it's not really getting going as yet. Try even shorter term. Try the 15-minute hovering, 4 hour. Trying to, but it's been held on the 10. 15. You could squeeze a bit more on the upside. What are they looking at? Buy at 57.08. Slightly better price. Where's your stop? 56.93. Wow. Again, I'm not happy with that. That tells me 8 and 7 is 15 pips. Have I got the maths right there? Yes, it is. 15 pips, that's not good enough. You cannot trade these markets with on a person who's receiving a trade idea, who's not familiar with the short term, hasn't got the time, doesn't understand scalping, the plus and minus that go with it, and then bung in a 15 pip stop. The chances that's going to get knocked out. Where is it now? And you're only going to come back another 7 pips. Where did it come? This is the 50-minute time when it came out. It's already been down to the round figure. If it came, in fact, it could hadn't quite got there yet. It could easily come back in the noise before any movement back up, if that's the correct direction. So that to me is a no-no. 15 pip stop. Okay, you saw that. Okay, you saw that, Anthony, as well. So first thing you look at that trade, and I personally will say whether you're right or wrong, that is not correct. You cannot send to not that highly informed, have got limited amount of time in their hands, a trade idea out with 15 pips. If I'm not saying Alex is wrong, he knows his clients. He's got a client base for full time, extremely knowledgeable, different ball game. I do know the QT clients, unless something's radically changed a year or so since I was with them, which I heavily doubt, because I occasionally keep in touch with some of the guys there. Doesn't seem much change there. That is, in my opinion, quite frankly, naughty. It's not correct. So anyway, that's as big as it said. Okay, having said that, could it go up there? 4 pips. So the range now over the last hour and a bit is about, was it about 4 pips? 2 pip spread. That tells me no bloody good at all. Try the hourly. Not, no, I don't see that. I think I just can't say I'm comfortable with that. The dollar could change. Some good news could come out, and strength, and well, we're buying that and selling that, and we're buying that, so no, yeah, strengthen it, which obviously force it down. Could easily strengthen it. It's tried a couple of times. It might. I don't know. I would be uncomfortable at this stage going for that one. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth going for the buy, or do you think even going for a sell? You think the dollar's going to jump from here? I don't see why I should think that, given no indication to do it. Or do you think it's LIA territory? But whether you go for it or not, if you're going to go for it, try and don't put a 15 in. You ask for trouble. You might get away with it, saying you won't, but you're pushing your luck there a bit. What do you guys think? Do we leave this alone or to go for it? What do you guys think? If you want to speak, please. If not, just tap out LIA or yes, I like the buy or whatever, and we'll go in and work out figures and do stuff.
Now, Roger,
Yep.
if we wait until the buy signal, until the, let's say the buy limit, well, at this stage it's a buy stop. and just check it again when it gets to that buy stop levels and see what's happening to the rest of the indicators and so on.
That's one way of looking at it. Fair comment. It's right on the 10, or we're on the 4 hours, right on the 10. It's a bit of resistance there, but it can easily be broken. You see up there. It's a smaller one, so there's less resistance there. I hear you. If it goes up there and we see a bit more of a decent move on the dollar, we could maybe revisit it from that point of view. Take it up to there or even up to there. It's a decent run. With a stop down here somewhere. You need to stop. I prefer to have it below the 200 personally, but anyway. So we'll have a look at the situation then. Okay. Anyone want to do it now? I'm assuming not because no one's saying anything. But that's a fair one. That it's a fair comment, Dion. Okay. I'm not that enthusiastic on it, quite frankly, but won't chuck it out the window automatically. Let's hoard it a bit, as they say, become hoarders. And if it gets some 8 and you see some, as you quite rightly say about the major indicator are helping the dollar, maybe we can. I'm not sure I'd pick the NZD right now. I think I'm going to do that. I think I might try, I don't know, the yen or the Swiss franc or something. But anyway, that being as it may, yeah. Okay. Okay, right. The last one, AUD CAD. What do they want to do with this one? They want to buy it. They want to buy the AUD CAD. Fair enough. No, not say that's wrong. Fair comment. What we're back on now, the 4 hour. Okay, let's try the daily. Well, it's certainly trying to get going there, but look what happened. That was yesterday. Fair, it's a long time ago. Yesterday, what long time, but you know what I mean. Bit indecision here. Try the weekly. Let's try the weekly. Holding there on the weekly. How far away is that? 8 pips, and it hadn't broken it. There you are. In fact, the last time that was above there was back in 24th November last year, 4 months ago, or 3.5 months ago. Okay, go back to the 4 hour. Indecision, and it's 40 minutes gone. Indecision, not helping me at all with comfort. 1 hour. What is the stop loss again? 51 entry. It's 20 pip stop. Again, to me, sent that out with 20 pip stop. I'm not comfortable with, but anyway, they've done it. They run their business. I'm just giving my opinion. A 1 hour battling to get through here. Look at these sellers coming in. 15. Try to get through. Sellers are coming in. I'm sorry, guys. To me, that's another LIA job. I'm not comfortable to sell that, to be honest. I'm not that confident with the Canadian strength. Weak oil price. Tariffs are hitting them as well. They tend to certain amount of the dollar, which is not looking yet that strong. By selling it, buying the dollar by selling it, buying the AUD, which means the weaker dollar, like I mentioned, is probably in theory the more likely scenario. I'll give them the due on that one. Sort of give them their due, but it's not enough comfort zone there that it's breaking above. What is the price getting into before we get carried away? 71. So where's 71 on here? Probably have to do the hourly one. Yeah, like that, Dion. Maybe again, the sort of a buy stop scenario, 10 pips away. If that gets taken out, we get some movement positive on the US dollar. Canadian might follow suit, might get a jump in oil price. Don't think so, but might help the cause. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't going on a market on this one. It they might have a point if it breaks through, but I'm not that confident. But that being as it may, this one is again, in my opinion, a wait and see on LIA or whatever. Anybody else got any comments and you'd like to have a bit of analysis on it and you'd like to take the floor and say, let's listen and learn. Everybody, what do you got to say on that one? John's to leave it alone. What about the others? Gertrude, what do you think? Labina, what do you think? And Tony? Yeah. I'm going to you, Anthony. You can wait and watch, as Dion said, if he gets these areas. But even then, I'm a little bit hesitant on it. I don't think you're going to get any remarkable movements until maybe get something out of the jolts at 4 o'clock. But unless you hear some news coming out, hang on, tariffs are finished, very unlikely. Zelensky signed, Hamas has released them all, and they're all bunny hugging each other now, and all blah blah blah. Yeah, well, but otherwise, I don't think even if they reach the buy stop levels, you're going to get enough follow through to quite frankly excite me on that one. But at least you've got better chance. I'll give you a due than where it is at the moment. So fair comment. Yeah, Gertrude. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So thank you very much, Zeph. He's on silence, probably got a bit of noise in the house or wherever he is, or unless he's driving or whatever. But yeah, thanks for those trades anyway. I think if nothing else, whether they do them or not, nice to do and make some money, obviously. But the second best is to maybe go over them together and learn from them. And you can see where I'm using the supply and demand zone, but more to the points, the moving averages and the DXYs, and stuff you've got to handy, and getting to practice how to look at them and interpret them. Having said as I'm talking there, I see the DXY decide to come off again. So yeah, so I won't be buying the dollar anytime soon, the way it's going. But I'm just wondering, are we chasing the selling dollar scenario a little bit on the late side? That's my worry. But that's what it looks like at the moment. If you like cryptos, keep an eye on them. I think they're oversold. Litecoin's slightly different. Bitcoin's a more well-known one, so I'll mention that. Slightly oversold. I think it's brewing up for maybe some upside coming soon. You know, the old scenario, you'll kick yourself when it gets to 90, 100,000. If only I'd bought it then. I think I'm not saying then do it now, unless you want to put a hell of a wide stop. Maybe I don't know, a $7,000-8,000 stop or something, you can afford it. I think that this one it's likely to maybe not this week, but certainly I think by next week, if that, I think it starts to go up. It's getting sort of near correction Bible levels, Bitcoin, for the next assault on the $120,000 mark, in my opinion. But we shall see. They bring an exchange out that for making it, make it less sort of thought of some sort of Mickey Mouse funny setup. To even bring out funds where they are being more recognized, the basic of the way forward. The work's still on legislation, trying to control it from terrorism and money laundering and that sort of thing, which is a major problem with it. But still, it's still going in that direction. So yeah, I still think it's the coinage of the future myself, the crypto, but we shall see. Okay, right. So there we are. Well, it's been interesting. No brilliant trades came out of it, but certainly been interesting. If we can find some during the day, great. If not, try again at 1, and then keep your fingers crossed. I think who was it said earlier on? Patience. I think it's Gertrude. I think it was. Patience is still very much the name of the game, so panic not. And then we get the CPI tomorrow, which is an hour earlier. Don't forget. And then see if some stuff can come through. But I'll keep my ear to the ground on news, but you do as well if I might miss something. So, I didn't see that. Sorry, I missed it, whatever. Then we can mention it. But yeah, that's the way I see it at the moment. Any comments before we wrap it up till later? Okay. All good. Spot something. Just send me a WhatsApp. Otherwise, I'll catch you later on then, 1 o'clock. Thanks, Antonio. Catch you 1 o'clock, and then see if something crops up. Maybe a couple of quick trade ones come to the party. We shall check it out. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, and catch you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.